Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Today's guest is a real special treat for you all, especially entrepreneurs and business owners. Cameron Williams, who's a fractional CFO and really helps business owners guide themselves through the journey of creating a profitable business and forecasting growth for their business. Cam, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. So let's get to it. Tell everyone a little bit about kind of who you are, what you do, and then I would love to know like story nuts.
Okay, cool. No problem. Thanks again for having me. So I'm Cameron Williams, owner of Kynli Consulting. We're based out of Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised here. Kynli Consulting is, again, a fractional CFO company. We actually have some big announcements coming, so we'll talk about those possibly later. But for now, we are fractional CFO accounting and tax strategy. Strategic financial growth is what we push because we've just learned over time that business owners like you guys don't need me to tell you, like, hey, these pens, they're office supplies. Like, you know that. That's basics. What my people are asking me is, Cam, what kind of investments can we put money into to scale the company or to bring taxes down? Or, hey, I want to pay myself more. Or how do we write off these things? Or how can we know which person to fire? But, I don't know how to do, like, those are the detailed kind of questions we're asking. How do we build up cash reserves? Those types of things versus just the simple, is this in the right bucket? So we do a lot more strategy than normal. We've been in it for, I believe it'll be 7 years this upcoming July. Before that, I worked in public accounting, which is your traditional CPA firm. Then right after that, went into private for a while, which is like the accounting team at Coca-Cola or Chick-fil-A. That's private accounting because you're focused on that particular company. So it was in energy, payment processing, tech, before we started on our own. Our big focus is really working with marketing agencies. We've just found that there's a ton of opportunity there. They typically make a lot of money fast, but most people in the United States, at least, can't speak for anywhere else. Most people don't make 20 grand in a month, let alone the numbers we see, which are your six figures in 1 month. So what does that look like? What are the tax implications? How do we structure it to make a business that's scalable, that's not super dependent on us, but where the business still pays all our bills, et cetera? So I think I've answered all your questions about who.
Yeah, no, that's great. Plus, with marketing, they'll see fluctuations. Like you might see a $20,000 month and then a $10,000 month.
Yeah.
Or 5,000 and then a $40,000 month. And being able to accurately track, predict, etc.
And even in a case like that, I think that's a great example. Like my job would be, how do we help streamline this? Because if you make 20, then 10, then 5, then 40, that's telling me that there's something wrong somewhere in the pipeline, right? There's either a sales problem, there's an AR problem, aka you're taking too long to collect money. So maybe we need to change your billing terms. There's a pricing problem. Maybe you're selling the wrong kind of packages. Therefore, that's why the numbers fluctuate. There's no steadiness there. It could be a lot of like cash flow. Maybe we're not saving enough. Maybe we're not putting enough into our marketing efforts, etc. But this is what I mean when I say strategic financial growth, because you can grow. And like weeds grow, but they grow out of control. We don't want it to be that. We want it nice, sustainable, consistent over time. Will there be variables? Yes, but we could take those into account when we start building out budgets and projections and looking forward into the future. But we have to have baseline established first.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So many businesses don't think about this. Don't even know or know they should be thinking about it. What would be some key elements of why a business, I mean, you've laid it out, but if you could just tell people 1, 2, 3, here's why you need someone like yourself doing the things you do, how it benefits their business, but then also protects them from obvious failures that are going to be coming.
Why would you need us? I think people are coming to us for a couple of reasons. A, they maybe have an accountant, a CPA, a bookkeeper, but they're not getting the attention they need from the standpoint of like, hey, I asked him this question. They ignored me for 3 weeks, or they just ghosted me, or maybe they're like 70 because it's my parents' account and I just kept them, but I need somebody, younger that's kind of on my same aggressive growth track. Like those are some of the reasons. When would you need our specific services though? I would say once you pretty much have proof of concept, we know it's just a matter of time, right? I think up until your first 10K, it's kind of about, can you make the money? Proof of sales is the offer, right? at least somewhat dialed in. Once
Right.
you're making that 15 to 20K and up, we know you can make money. It's just a matter of how much, how fast. That's when you need us because, like I was saying earlier, I don't know about you, but when I made my first year where we did like 250 grand, I had never made that in a year. Like that's coming from my sales efforts and all the things that are attached to it.
Right.
I wasn't even, I mean, funny story that
Yep.
the accountant paid taxes because I didn't even expect to make that much. And I know this is going to sound real familiar to some of y'all because I didn't expect to make that much. I was just doing my normal inputs, working hard every day, sales, marketing. I didn't plan it. So that was part two. I knew I had a goal, but I didn't plan what if I actually hit it or surpass the goal. And then lastly, I didn't have anybody breaking it down to me because I was doing everything for the client and not sipping my own drink, right? And you guys know that as marketers where you'll market for everybody else. And then I'll talk to the agency. They're like, we haven't even turned ads on. I'm like, that's crazy.
You know, man, that is so funny. And it is so true. We're busy taking care of our customers. I mean, I've done it more than a few times. You're taking care of your own, your customers when you're like, oh, I haven't updated my this in a while, whether it's ads or your AI bot, like, oh, we got our AI bot helping people schedule this and that and answer questions, but I don't have it on my own site. Things crazy.
Yeah. And so I think for me making that switch, because I was already doing it, I'm like, crap, I need to do this for myself now because, and then see, I had kids, so I'm used to not owing. Well, then you hit that different tax bracket and you like,
Right.
oh, snap. So that's when people are starting to,
And it really surprise people. And then they're behind the gun trying to
yeah,
work
because
that
then
out.
what happens to your point, they're going to go, oh man, I didn't know I was going to owe, let's just say 20 grand.
Hmm.
I didn't know I was going to owe 20 grand. I don't have 20 grand because I didn't know I was going to owe it. So now let me do a payment plan. Well, I found out again the hard way that when they put you on these payment plans, it's not really built for you to pay off. If you actually go look at the details, they charge you so much interest that, like, let's say you're making $200 a month payment, 60 of that may be interest. So then it takes forever to pay off. Really, like, these are all things. So then we get to next year and repeat and repeat and repeat versus when you're coming to us, you're trying to stop the bleeding. Like right now, let's fix it. So it may be, yes, okay, to a payment plan, but all right, we're in, as of this recording, we're in March. We got 9 months that we can plan out. Hey, let me put this together. Let me do some projections. Hey, you said you have seasonality over the summer, slower, but in Q3, Q4, because of Black Friday and holidays, it's higher. Let's build that in. Okay, you're going to hire another person. Okay, how much you're going to pay them? What's your current? Oh, you want to give yourself? We map all that out. I can tell you by the end of April, for example, and we're doing this next month with our people anyway. Hey, based on how Q1 went, plus what we're projecting for the rest of the year, hey, I think your net income, all the money you made minus what you spent, is going to be 300,000. Taxes on 300,000 is fill in the blank number. Now we know the number. Now we just got a game plan. Well, how do I start saving for? Let's just say for easy example, that's 100 grand. How do I start saving for 100 grand? Well, we need to put 8,500 to the side every month. That's a lot more. That's a lot easier to digest. Put 8,500 to the side in this savings account than I wait until April the 13th and tell you, and you have a heart attack, and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Right.
So these are the things that we're helping with because, to your point, in the past, my person did stay on top of it, or I only talk to them once a year, or I try to do it all in a nice, fancy Excel sheet. Yeah, but you always have to remember, while the IRS is a lot of negative, bad things, they are still getting better. They still do change the requirements. So requirements that were not there 5 years ago are definitely there now. So they're starting to catch up now that COVID is over. Now that the same tax laws have been in effect for a while, they're starting to catch up. Like we're starting to see, hey, it's been a year since we submitted an S corp form, but now we're getting it back and it's rejected. So but it's 10 to 12 months after that. So they're starting to get caught up. But you want to make it to where I'm ahead of them. I can already project out. I can already see. I can be prepared. And I think that's what's going to help not only future business owners, but the people that we work with as well.
I love it. So, I mean, you've made a clear case for why people should be looking at these numbers, should have a fractional CFO like you helping them along the way. What are some things, if someone's out, let's they're just having this awareness. So I need a fractional CFO. What are some of the things that they should be looking for? Like you listed out a lot of stuff that you do to help people with strategy. What are some of the key things that they should be looking for in a fractional?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great question. So I'm taking my bias out. This is just in general. So I think number one, could you see yourself working closely with this person? Like, do they fit you, your business trajectory, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in a perfect, like most of my clients, not all, most, between myself or the team, we're talking to every week, almost, if not every other week, but almost every week, especially the first 90 to 6 months. The first 90 days to 6 months. So is this somebody that I can feel comfortable sharing? And how are they receiving me? Are they judgmental? And I'm putting that in air quotes because we know that's subjective. But like, do I feel comfortable sharing my business and my financial struggles and where I've messed up? If you're like, no, they're very rigid, that's probably not going to be a good fit. So there's part one. Part two, I like working with people in your niche just because they know your industry. So like in our particular case, we go to the high level conference, right? We're in other masterminds. So we know the language, we know the problems, we know what's going on. So when you communicate it to us, my job is to take my complicated anxiety giving numbers and make it as easy as understand and digestible to you. So can they do that? And then lastly, hopefully, are they proactive? Because of course we all know a lot of people are going to chase the sale. Like, yeah, we're the best thing. You come over and then the ball drops. So what can they possibly show you in their workflow that shows that they're proactive? Like in our case, hey, we do this every month by the 10th business day. You have this communication style, et cetera, et cetera. What does that look like and how will it work for you versus, okay, I'm on auto bill. I never talk to them. And I'm not saying that you may not have to talk to an executive assistant or maybe the staff accountant, because like I'm doing this with you right now. My team is still working. So,
Right.
of course, we all understand that concept. But I think if you at least start with those three things, that's going to separate a lot of people because everybody can't do CFO. And don't get me wrong, there are great bookkeepers, there are great accountants, and then there are unicorns. There's nothing wrong with somebody telling you these are office supplies because you need that. I want it to be in the right buckets. There's nothing wrong with an accountant saying, hey, you can or cannot deduct this. But the unicorn is the one who can do all of that, plus communicate it to you, and plus isn't always trying to tell you, no, you can't. Some stuff you can do, it just may require like doing some deep research and positioning it a certain like way. Like we talked about that over dinner, where there's a certain way to do it that will keep you super clear. And then there's the social media way, and they left out these 7 details that make it super official.
Yeah. No, that's great. Is there anything else that you want to share with people? I mean, this is all on, uh, I think, such an important topic that so many business owners just whiff on, and it just really make a difference in their business, saving them money, saving them anxiety. Because you're going to have to face those fears at some point anyway, or face them.
You can't, I'd throw some things in there like you can't out earn bad spending habits. So, like, we've seen people make great money and then they just go get a business loan. And I'm like, you didn't ask me about it. You didn't consult with me. And that's not to say like I'm your parent, but you
Right.
hired me to help you make these decisions. You just went and got a merchant loan from Stripe. Shout out to Stripe. But you just went and got one from them. And
Yeah.
every single time you get paid, they're going to take theirs without asking. It's not like a credit card where it's like at the end of every cycle or a regular loan where it's one payment. Every single time you get paid, they say, oh, give me that 11 to 15% plus their Stripe fee. And you get whatever. So out of $1,000, you may only get 850 when you're supposed to at least get 985. Like that, those are big things. So make sure you're like really talking. That's why I said, can you and this person mesh? Talk to them before you make these big decisions because the data may say, this just happened last week. Perfect example. Got a guy not even a year in and he's already bringing in like 83 grand a month. And I'm like, all right, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, should I go get 100K line of credit? I'm like, for what? He's like, well, just in case. I'm like, just in case what? Well, just to be prepared in case anything happens. I said, no, if we can't manage this, you're just going to have it sitting there for no reason. Based on what you're telling me and the little I know, they're a newer client, this should be fine, or we're going to streamline it and make it fine so that there's cushion left over. You can pay everybody. If you wanted to take extra distributions, you can, but we don't need to go straight to bit. From all intents and purposes, you should be fine. Now, me being me, this is why another reason you may need the fractional is what you're really telling me that you're not comfortable with your cash flow and how it's working. That may be what, but that's why we got to know each other. He may be saying, I know I'm going to just hurry up and burn through it and spend it. Therefore, I need this extra cushion. If that's what you're telling me, then that's a different conversation. But this is why, like, these things, you can't just make these rapid. Well, I'm making 85 grand a month. I can just do, no, think through it, talk through it, tell the accountant, hey, can you show it? Can you map it out for me? My people know I'll pull up an Excel sheet and we'll get the typing right there. Oh, I never saw it. We'll do all that because my job is to bring the clarity for you to make the best business decision for you.
I love it. So, couple things. You mentioned you work with a lot of agencies, that use high level. What do you like about that niche? And are there any commonalities that you can share about that customer type?
Yeah. So how did we pick the niche? So ironically, we started with recruiting agencies first.
Okay.
But I mean, like I had a marketing, branding guy. We tried stuff for like 6 to 8 months and it just didn't work. So I go to my mentor and I'm like, I need a new one. And she's like, well, what do you think? Like, I'm like, I have no idea. She said, you know what? I think you should do marketing agencies. And I'm like, why you say that? She's like, typically they're younger. They're more willing to listen. They make a lot of cash very quickly. So that opens them up for a lot of strategies you can help them with. She said, I think it would just be easier for your personality. Like recruiters, they going to want to argue with you about everything because that's their job, negotiating. She said, marketing agencies aren't like that. And she said, and if I'm wrong in 6 to 9 months, pick something else. You ain't married to it. And then that was it. So we stuck with it. So that's how we picked them. Commonalities, for whatever reason, all of them, let me not say all, I'm sorry. Majority love to travel. Like everybody wants to be able to, I can take my laptop and go over here to Texas or go to Florida or the mountains or all around the world and do their thing. So I think that's a common one. Once they figure it out, it's like putting a rocket ship on. So like I was saying, the guy just started really last year, already to like 80K months.
Wow.
So that's not the norm.
No.
Most of them from a client like psychological perspective are all relatively the same. The 25 all the way up to the 50-year-old, typically married or dating, have a kid or multiple, not trying to be as extravagant as social media would paint it. It's not like they're trying to get jets. They're like, I'm just trying to make as much money as I can to do the stuff I really want to do. They're all pretty even tempered. Like I've only had maybe 2 like agency owners that are like legit kind of hotheads, and one of those
You fire?
I did. I tried to make it work, and I was like, at this point,
As coined a couple years ago, ain't nobody got time for that.
we don't. And he was like rude and disrespectful to the team. And after a while, I'm like, you know what? This ain't worth it. I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think we're going to be able to meet your expectations. To which he agreed. And we blessed him right on out. But yeah, I think
I love it.
for the most part, like those are some of the most of them are like chill. They're just regular people. I'm just really good at this skill. Now that I have all this money, they're all asking, what do I do with it? Versus like real estate people, they're more like, I made all this money. Let me try to go flip it or put it into house flips or something like that. My agency people aren't like that at all. They're more so, I made it all. What do I do with it? Do I just leave it here? Do I put it back in so I can scale faster? But from a personality standpoint, they're all, very similar to you. Just chill, low-key, happy that the business has afforded me these non-normal American luxuries, so to speak. And they're fine. So those are some of the commonalities.
Love it. Well, and thanks so much for being with us on the show today. I know that our viewers are going to want to connect with you. We're going to be sure to put links down below where you can connect with Pam, go through whatever the process is of discovering it. You might be a great fit for them or they may be a good fit for you.
So socials, just my first and last name, Cameron, Cameron Williams. I'm pretty active on Messenger for the most part. I'll be a lot more active when tax season's over. So that's probably the easiest way. Of course, we have our website, which is just KynliConsulting.com. But probably the easiest way is just shoot me a message on Facebook. You can send us an email if you want, because I know some people are like, oh, I want to do it the official way. So that's just Cameron, Cameron, at KynliConsulting.com. But what we can do for you, because I know you the man, we can create you a specific link. Then that way, if you guys just click that link, I'll know you heard of us through this podcast, and we'll just offer you a free diagnostic. And
Great. What a great takeaway. So just to recap, everyone, first of all, you need to be looking at your numbers, not just yourself, not just your bookkeeper or your accountant, but someone that has the capacity and the knowledge of a fractional CFO, and who's really helping you make decisions in your business that are based on the numbers, based on the fact, and they can help you project moving forward. Cam's given some great insights here on what you should look for in a CFO or fractional CFO. And then, I highly encourage you to check out Cam and have a conversation with him. If it's something that you're considering in your business you don't already have, you absolutely should. So we'll put a link below so you can check him out. Cam, thanks so much. Great wisdom and just great vibe. I just love hanging out with you.
Yeah, man, glad to jump on here and share some things with your audience. And again, if you guys have any questions, Dar knows how to get in touch with me, and we'll figure out how to try to give back and help your people. But whatever he tell y'all to do, y'all just need to do whatever he say.
All right, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode.
All right, see ya.